So I'm going to tell you about this new model of happiness. Basically, happiness is the absence of suffering. And we can see suffering as the combination of these three primordial types of suffering, which are fear, anger, and sadness. So fear can come when you're afraid of losing something that you hope you are going to get and you don't want to lose it. Fear comes when you're because of uncertainty of the future. Okay, fear is one of the primordial sufferings. And then there's sadness. Sadness comes when, grief is a type of sadness. Maybe when you feel lonely, you feel sad. When you're by yourself and when others are doing things without you, and you feel this type of loneliness. And this is also sadness. And the third primordial suffering is anger. Anger usually comes from injustice, or when other people are not doing what you think is right. So this is injustice, basically. So these three components are primordial, the same as the three primordial colors. I very often see emotions as being colors, the colors of our body. They are psychic colors. And if you do graphic design or any sort of design, nowadays we use the three primordial colors, which are green, red, and blue. It's RGB, red, green, blue. And from these three colors, we have all of the other colors. This is when I had this idea that basically emotions was the same. Like red would be anger, blue would be fear, and green would be sadness. And depending on the emotion we have, there is a certain level of each of those three things. For example, when you feel envious or jealous, you are jealous because other people have something you don't have. So inside this very special type of suffering that we call jealousy, envy, there is a little bit of sadness, there is a little bit of anger, and maybe there is a little bit of fear. Or maybe when you feel ashamed or when you feel guilty. So they have different levels of each of these primordial emotions. But basically the point here that I'm trying to make is that all emotions is basically a combination of these three primordial elements of suffering. And what we want is to reduce these three types of suffering to be happy. So happiness is the absence of suffering.